Last clip from the Schaub show. Last clip from the Schaub show. Look at this. Brendan invites Chin to his house for 4th of July celebrations. Brendan actually extends an olive branch for the first time in a long time. I watched a lot of fucking TFATK, unfortunately. I watched a lot of Brendan content, unfortunately. A lot of fucking, Schaub show, unfortunately. And I don't think I've ever heard Brendan be disenthusiastic about inviting Chin over to his house. It usually seems as if Chin doesn't really get, invited anywhere. Brendan and Brian don't ever take him and the other staff that work there out for dinner or drinks. They never get invited around their houses for barbecues or family gatherings. Zero. Despite them working there, especially Chin's case, for 10 plus years, you think he's part of the family by default. This is the first time I've heard Brendan actually going out of his way to invite Chin to his house. So I wonder if Chin's going to take him up on it or not.
And July 4th, I love July 4th. Man, besides Christmas, probably my favorite holiday. But in California, there's people that get away with it, but they're pretty strict on fireworks. And unless you're smuggling in your anus through Tijuana, you can't really get good fireworks. So I grew up in Denver where we had M80s. We had the big things that would fly up in the air. We had the snakes, we had all those, dude. We had all those. And my kids only ever had the gay, the sparklers. The sparklers. That's all they've ever had. And they're memorized by those. Tough word for me. By those. Tough word for me. Memorized by those. Tough word for me. Ever had, and they're memorized by those.
Memorized. He can't say memorized properly. 2 degrees, by the way. 2 degrees. English is his first language. 2 degrees. Cannot correctly pronounce mesmerized without sounding like he's about to have a stroke.
That's all they've ever had, and they're memorized by those. Tough word for me. They're mesmerized by those. They love them. They love them. Out here in Texas, though,
Chin, mesmerized. Yeah, you would say that, wouldn't you? Fuck, you know your bread butter, don't you?
Driving around, it's like fireworks stand. Get them here, dude. And I just peeped without the kids, buddy. It's like old school days.
Big up Rafael Quinta. Brendan probably thinks he's introducing Chin to American culture. Exactly. I'm sure Chin has never heard of this, by the way. I'm sure this is the first time Chin has heard of what goes down during a 4th of July celebration. Like, what? Really? Fireworks? Food? Festivities? No way.
I can't wait. And then our neighborhood, they do a block party. So each house is a theme. So one house has the bouncy castle. Another house has the slip and slide. One house has ice cream. One house has barbecue. I thought it was a little racial. They were like, yeah, you guys make Mexican food. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. Well, just because I have a Mexican wife, that makes sense.
That'll be the main reason why your neighbors asked your Mexican wife, could she bring some Mexican food? Because everyone's going to bring a bit of food, right? Everyone's going to bring a little bit of something that they can make, and it's going to contribute to the whole. Especially if it's a little block party, a little fucking suburb conclave party. Good vibes usually. From the ones I've been to a couple in my life. Usually not places that I live. People, other people have invited me to, but they're usually pretty decent for those areas. That's part of the reason why you'd move to an area like that, like a little cul-de-sac, because of the community vibes, right? Everyone kind of looking out for each other, especially if there's a lot of like parents there, a lot of maybe young parents who are a similar sort of age, similar sort of life experience. So these type of block things are kind of quite fun. So everyone gets to bring their own type of food. So it means it's completely okay and above board and not racist to be like, hey, because you guys are Mexican and you have spoken probably about Mexican cuisine and your love for your country, why don't you make some fucking Mexican food and bring along with you and show other people what you guys eat? Maybe you might put somebody on. Maybe you might end up swapping some stuff with some guy that is from fucking Belarus or whatever else it may be. It really isn't that deep. But I think Brendan's mentioned is because he doesn't like his family being referred to as Mexican. He wants it to be white. But your wife is very Mexican, although she tries to not look it, right? Joanna wants to look more Persian, fucking, I don't know. She wants to look more like that. She doesn't really want to look Mexican. And I have a feeling she purposely doesn't tan or like carries an umbrella around so she doesn't get too olive. I know that. There's probably a whole sort of colorism thing that goes on in that part of the world, similar to it is in Africa. But this is a very, very, very Mexican woman. So it makes sense why they want her to fucking make Mexican food. And unfortunately for Brendan too, his kids probably look more Mexican than he does. Brendan looks a bit Turkish, but his kids look very Mexican. So I don't really understand why it's a problem, a point of contention. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't they?
So I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be dope. What are you guys doing for the Well, Chin's finally here. Chin's officially here.
Yeah.
You could come over with us, Chin.
We'll see. I might actually go back for just a little bit to see my family.
Okay.
Of course you will. Nearly 50-year-old guy recently moved to Austin, Texas to start a new life, and he's running back home already because he's homesick. Just stay there, man. Integrate. Hang out with Brendan's family. Maybe you might meet a fucking Spice. Maybe you might meet a recently divorced mum or two. Maybe you might get introduced to a daughter or two. Maybe you might get a business contact. Whatever. Chin's like, no, I have to go back home and I miss my family. What he's really saying, he misses Korean barbecue. That's what he really misses. He's going to go back because he misses Korean barbecue. He misses the sojoy. He misses these fucking drinks. That's what he's going to go back to. He misses Casey and all those type of guys from TFATK. He really should be going to Brendan's house though, I think. He really should hang out with him.
Okay, that's kind of sad. All right.
You just got here.
Yeah, you just got here. Why would you leave
Hold on.
during the holiday?
Dude, it's this week? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's this week,
right.
man. You're going to fly in the 4th, dude?
No.
No, come to the crib, man.
He was going to, but then he felt embarrassed. He felt ashamed. He felt ridiculous because he's a fucking middle-aged man running back to go see mummy and daddy. But he should go and hang out. Especially because this is an invitation that doesn't happen too often. Brendan doesn't really like hanging out with Chin, it seems like. He likes him being work colleagues and partners in the business, but they don't really seem to have a relationship outside of the studio or the office.
Man, meet the fam. Meet the neighborhood. Just good.
Meet the fam, by the way. So what, has Chin never met the fam? Has Chin never met Brendan Shaw's family? Working at TFATK for 10 plus years, he's never met his family. Which is why I think people who are surprised that Brendan doesn't know where Brian Cannon lives, you haven't done your science. You haven't been in the community long enough. Like, if this guy, if this insinuation is that Chin hasn't met his family, then why would you be surprised that he doesn't know where Brian Cannon lives?
Good people, dude. Just quality people. Where are you going to do case back in North Korea?
Probably barbecue with the homies and the lady.
Yeah, have some drinks and shit.
lucky.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Maybe a little golf. Get out the old.
Bring up Rafael Quinta. AZ, aside seeing this girlfriend type stuff, want her to like me. Do I hide the fact that I watched a random show? I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer to a somewhat toxic level of always being unapologetically yourself, especially when it comes to relationships. Don't hide. Don't do things in secret. Don't lie. Be yourself 100%, whatever the consequences. So if you're a toxic male when it comes to watching football and you're effing and blinding, you're punching the walls and shit, you don't want to talk to her if your team loses, be that person. If you like to play fucking charades with your friends, be that person. If you like to do fucking, what's that thing people do when they go on paintball fucking runs and shit, be that person. You like to play, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons, be that person. Pokemon, be that person. If they don't like that and they want to leave or break up, it's gonna hurt, but it's better in the long run than pretend to be someone that you're not. So let it all hang out. But when it comes to shows, I don't think you should always know what everyone watches, because it can fuck up how you view somebody. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to shows, I don't think you should be I don't think it's important or it's necessary to share what you watch, because she could tell you that she watches something that you don't rate, and it can make you look at her different forever, and she's never gonna turn that around. Same goes for you. So I think when it comes to shows, you have to be careful, because there are certain things that people watch that I'm not really into, that if somebody would have told me in the beginning stages, I might run. But when I find out later on, I'm be like, I'm gonna take the piss out of it for you, but I'm not gonna go anywhere because we're too deep, you know. But you have to be careful. You have to be a little bit apprehensive about sharing those type of things. But again, what do I know?
Rollerblades.
That's a good idea. I'll get some tea times right now. Actually.
Yeah, man. Yeah, life's good, man. A lot of lake life. People are like, yeah, it's because it's new lake life right now. I'm like, bitch, I live behind the lake. It's just,
That's awesome.
It's insane, dude.
I love when he does this, by the way, when he starts like arguing or clapping back to like comments he sees on his Instagram. Yeah, late life right now, bro. Just ignore it, man. It's not that deep. They're just trolling. Just ignore it.
It's fucking crazy. It's so cool. I didn't, Denver has its fair share of outdoor activities, but the lake here is fucking dope, man. Basti caught a turtle and shit. We're on the tube and stuff. It's so much fun. I'm gonna get into fishing. Chin, you and I be fishing buddies.
Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Once everything's settled in, go.
Yeah.
Once everything's settled in, like what, bro? You're one person. Like what need to settle in? You're not moving in a family. You're not moving with a fucking wife or a girlfriend. You're by yourself. What else you need to settle in? How long does it take you to settle in? How long, bro? God damn this guy. Once I've settled in. Hurry up, bro. Hurry up and settle in.
Fishing.
Dude, it's great.
My favorite thing to do on the lake is wakeboarding. Have you ever done wakeboarding?
I have wakeboard. It's great, especially on the lake.
I knew you'd say yes. I knew you wouldn't say no. I knew the pathological liar in him would have to say, yeah, of course I've done. Of course I wakeboarded. Yeah, right, you wakeboarded. I knew he couldn't let up the opportunity to say, yeah, of course I've done it. You know?
Your boy blew out his quad running sprints, trying to show these 9-year-olds that I still got it. So your boy's out for a little bit.
Okay.
Like I couldn't partake in the festivities yesterday. I can't explode right now.
Festivities or festivities?
Festivities yesterday. Like I couldn't partake in the festivities. Couldn't partake in the festivities. Couldn't partake in the festivities yesterday. I can't explode right now. That stresses me out, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
Blowing out your quads, allegedly trying to keep up with 9-year-olds is fucking hilarious, but very on brand for Brendan. I don't believe him, but very on brand. If true, very, 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 very on brand for Brendan. But all this to say, I think Chin's only getting that invite because no one else around. Chin's only getting that invite because Brendan literally has no other friends. There's no one else left. There's no one else left. That's why Chin's getting that invite. If Brendan was in LA or he had a great social circle and Liederman thing never happened, the Clyde thing never happened, Babili thing never happened, he's not fucking, enemy number one in the comedy community. People aren't keeping away from him and shit. If he's got all these comedy friends, I don't think Chin gets that invite. That's a real sad thing about it. And I think Chin should get that invite regardless. With the amount of time he's been around Brendan, loyalty, dedication, never missing I don't think he's ever missed an episode because he's sick or had to go on holiday or something. So the fact that Chin's always there, I think he should have always gotten an invite. But I think he's only getting this invite because Brendan doesn't have any other friends. Basically. Sad but true. Sad but fucking true.